We got a good blend of new people here today, which is amazing. I love it.
What's your marketing to get all the new people?
You have a new group.
Last week I got blocked from the WhatsApp group chat just for trying to post about stuff and ask questions about how can advertise more workshops and talk about it. And then he was like, I'm doing it my way, or whatever, and then he just blocked me. I don't know.
Yeah, the guy has kind of been a pain in the butt.
He was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but yeah, it should be open. I mean, it's my perspective, right?
Absolutely.
Welcome. Great. Oh, we have one more. Maybe we'll start to do these in La La Land someday.
Yeah, very good.
On the beach.
This is super nice too. Yeah, comfortable with the AC is right, you know?
By the beach.
You have ice bath.
Do ice bath in between. Yeah, actually, I learned something about ice bath is when you actually are going into ice bath right before, you learn something new, your adrenaline spikes, so that you're actually learning that thing, because that's how your ancestors, all of our ancestors has actually learned stuff by super scary or adrenaline or just big shock to the nervous system, like a bear, right? You know, now I know what a bear is because of the adrenaline spike. So this is super. I've learned a little bit of Russian this way.
What did you learn?
Like "Какая прекрасная душа," which is you have a beautiful soul. It's a great thing.
Ah, interesting.
But yeah,
Some other words.
I don't know this one, but I needed to go in the ice bath more to learn that. But today, there's a really interesting topic, and I don't know if you've ever dove into this topic before. It's the quality of questions and the quality of words that you're using every single day. Because that's the thing that's creating thought. When you look at how you're thinking, what is thought? It's actually a series of questions. And when you come up with any thoughts, it's just questions that you're asking yourself. You can dive into this and you will just find that it's just a series of questions. So, how do questions affect your life? Well, who has been told here, how are you? Yeah?
Couple of times.
Couple of times?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your typical response when someone says, how are you?
Okay, good.
Okay.
I don't
Good.
answer.
Fabulous.
Boring question.
Yeah, it's a really boring
It's
question.
Too much.
Yeah.
And then how are you? It's like American team.
Yeah. What happens if you?
Hey, how are you?
It's just very automatic, right? So what we're going to do here, really quickly, just as a little icebreaker, we're going to come up with 3 new "How are you" questions. But I'm going to give you a partner, right? So you're just going to take like 2 or 3 minutes to yourself and start to think, okay, what is a better way I can talk to people, strangers, just to introduce themselves or to see how someone's day is going in a different way than just saying, how are you? Or how you doing? This is like the part of the brain that we want to activate. We want to see, okay, how can I start to think about things differently? How can I start to impact people differently? Everything that we do in this world is about contribution and sharing your wisdom with people and sharing whatever gifts that you have. And so by being a little bit of a more curious person, you're going to inspire a lot. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have random people, right? So Helen and Kevin, you guys are not going to be together, right? You want to try to get with someone new. Anyone that you're not familiar with, try to pair up with them. And then just you two can come up with a different series of questions. 3 questions, all I want. And then after that, we'll come up to the board and see, okay, what are these questions? Which one's the best? Okay, cool. We got him.
I think we're gonna win.
Okay, who thinks they have the best question?
Next.
Yeah? Let's see it.
The first one. How's life recently?
How's life recently?
Yeah.
What do we think about that? Scale out of 1 to 10. How's life recently?
Feels a bit like how are you,
Yeah.
but asked differently.
But you have to ask.
Feels like you're manipulating me into thinking your question is
I want to know more about their life and how things are going versus just how are you? It's
And
like
recently,
But
it's
you-
not like in
but-
general.
not like
And then
like
you-
don't give me your whole life.
You have to avoid the question where they reply good or
Yeah.
okay. And then you have to answer a different one.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We don't want these kind of answers.
Yeah.
That's just like, okay, then all of a sudden it's just an automatic conversation, very impulsive conversation that doesn't really, maybe, you know, if you're one of those people that knows how to like guide a conversation somewhere,
Yeah.
then you know how to move away from this boring life right here.
Yeah, exactly.
But who has a really good question that they came up with their pair? Who has a really good one that they think is the best? What's it?
What magic are you creating today?
Wow.
That's
Good.
good. So
Boom.
still the one.
Wow.
Or what impact are you creating today?
I thought about that, but I said, okay, it's not. I'm not gonna-
We have similar.
Oh yeah, we had
That's
what
a
good
one.
did you do today?
What good did you do today?
So,
Say again?
What good did you do today?
Similar.
Oh, that's great.
You heard us. You just changed the magic.
What good are you doing today?
Yeah.
This is one of the questions I always ask on my.
What good did you do today?
What good did you do? Do we like that?
Yes.
I like it, but I think it could also cause like, oh shit, did I do anything good?
That makes you think.
It does. That's the
That's
idea,
true,
right?
that's
I mean,
true.
we want to have good things that we can think about, but also at the same time, what is the idea that we want to create? If we're trying to inspire, we're trying to contribute to the people, what is the answer that we want to receive out of someone? Probably something positive.
Positive, yeah.
Something that they can feel good about themselves, not feel that they're judged, not feel that they're not
Overwhelmed by expectations.
Exactly, George. So
What do you want to achieve today?
I think that's similar to this, right? What magic created today?
Yes.
You guys wrote them down, or you just kind of in the head?
we wrote
Oh,
it
we
down.
need these golden ones. Come on.
Oh, I have a good one. What kind of trouble do you want to get into today?
Any failures?
Lorenzo, you're on fire.
I like that too. It's good.
What or what we can simplify it. What trouble are you getting into today?
Yeah.
Do you want to get into today?
Ah.
What havoc do you want to create today?
Ooh.
What kind of damage are you going to make today? Just kidding.
The trouble question does have an attractive element to me.
I know.
All right, it sounds adventurous and
I know.
we can do something different.
I want to hear George's question. He must have some very good ones.
There was one that was good. What was it? Remember?
No, but I have another one. What did you dream about last night? In details.
In details. Is that a good question to open up with?
Especially the juicy
It
one.
is.
Or your friend's great question, right?
What if people must will say I don't remember,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually.
Oh, I could explain for 1 hour, no problem.
but you can.
See, we got a good target.
What, there was something that.
What are you looking forward to eating today?
There we go.
Well, I like
Ooh, I
that.
like
Food
that.
stuff. Everybody likes food.
What about, what are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for today?
A beautiful question to
Pretty good.
always ask.
Say it again.
What are you grateful for today?
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Well, what about what are you creating today? Or
Yeah.
what would you like to create today?
Magic.
This is the what magic creating today. It's
Oh,
kind of just
okay.
like they put that verb in there to kind of like, you know,
Make it.
make it really fancy.
Give it pizzazz,
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah. What was the one? The grateful for?
Yeah.
Just a simple gratitude.
I love that, yeah. What are you grateful for?
It's something actually I would love you guys to try out with a few people, your close friends, or even just like if you're hanging out, co-working. All of a sudden, randomly ask them, middle of the conversation, what are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for? Give me 3 things right now.
It's great.
Right? Kind of changes up their state. And all of a sudden, what do they have to do?
Be
They have to
positive.
think. They have to think about the positive.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? That's what we want to do. Because last week we talked about changing your state of being. And what we did was I showed you a lot of ways to change your state of being with your body and your focus. This is the alternate side of the focus where you can actually start to implement your life with questions. Because questions create thought. And what we're diving into here is the meaning and the language that we're using behind our questions. So if I were to ask you guys, because we're going to dive into language first, okay? There's something called emotionally charged words. Who here uses the word I hate?
consciously, and I'm like, no, I shouldn't say that, you know, and I say that to myself every time. I dislike. It
Yes.
doesn't help.
Yes,
I
exactly.
still have that feeling, you know. Yeah.
It's. You also had it.
Yeah.
Can you put your hands up again? I didn't get to see this side.
Sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
I hate mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
I hate my parents.
Oh, God.
Okay. I appreciate that. It's when we use this word hate, to be honest, it's what's behind that word. Not just like the anger, but what emotions are behind that? Is it negative or positive?
Negative.
Right.
Why it doesn't have to be negative. I hate governments.
What
That's
did you
it.
Garmin?
Governments.
Oh, governments.
Yeah.
Still negative.
That's good. That's it.
Anything that has to do with hate is very negative. It's creating a lot of emotional conviction to say that you dislike something. And what happens when we dislike something? We create expectation for not ever having it come into our experience.
Sam, you know, in math, they say two negatives make it positive. So I hate losing. Is that positive?
A double negative?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, like you're basically saying that the losing experience is not a good experience, right? I mean, that's a decent thing to understand. I mean, but your belief, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a great question to ask. You know, I hate losing. It's a double negative for sure, but that means when you do lose, you're just going to kind of put yourself down into that state of losing even more because that's what you're focusing on. Whatever you say you hate is the thing that you're focusing on, right? I think I had talked about this last week where we talked about where focus goes, energy flows. It's a great way to understand how wherever your focus is, so I hate losing, okay, I have negative attributions towards losing. What is losing? Another bad thing, another hateful thing, or just negative thing, right? So our focus is going towards that. So there's a lot of emotionally charged words. I want to know if I could ask all of you. You guys want to take a picture of these, anyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before I erase it? We could answer them, but I think that, you can do that on your own. Answer those questions.
I got something to say about the question as well.
Yeah.
Extra. I think it really depends on if you're talking to a complete stranger or if
Yes.
you're talking to a
Absolutely.
friend. If you are talking to a friend, you can ask what's new.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites to ask.
Yeah.
If you're talking to a complete stranger, saying how are you is a good opener as long as you know how to follow it up really soon.
Yeah.
Like you said, in this case I would say it's better to ask the good, because you can kind of tell by the body language and how they answer, like you have to listen a little bit more. And then based on that, if you can tell like, oh, okay, maybe they are open to the conversation and then not, and then ask a follow-up question.
Right.
Rather than like, you're not gonna walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, how was your dream today? Or like, what did you dream about today? Or what are you looking forward to eating today? Like, that's kind of weird. So if you're talking to complete strangers on the streets or anywhere else, in events it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
But if you're on the streets, like, how are you is great, and then I like to ask, what's your passion project?
Yeah. Have you heard of
What are you
Simon
excited about?
Squibb?
Yes.
Yeah, so this guy, he just goes up to people on the street and goes, what's your dream?
Right.
Dream.
In that case, isn't it different because it's like an interview, so they see the camera, they see him holding a microphone.
Right.
So it's a different. But if you're a total stranger with nothing around and it's just you, like walking to a stranger, hey, what's your dream? It can work, and yeah, like you can try it. But generally, if you want to actually start the conversation, like you can. How are you? It's not really.
I think it completely depends on the person who's going to respond. So the thing is that with people who respond, if they're look towards life, their attitude or their lens, the little glasses that they have on, the first question, what do you think is going to ask them in their head? What question do you think they're going to ask themselves in the head when you ask that question?
Oh, about the dream?
Yeah.
Oh, what is my dream?
Sure, but what do they want from me?
Right.
That's probably a question that goes on. And so that's typically the question that most people in the West, I would say, have their attitudes of, or just kind of people that they have this negative outlook of life, right? So it's like, okay, what are they trying to get out from me? And so then if you're looking to maybe one of us, even though some of us are strangers here, would you say these to people if you knew that, okay, maybe just like you said, like a little group or event where that they're like-minded, but say you just don't know. But people here in Da Nang typically are a little more open-minded. So you ask them, hey, what magic you created today? I think that's a great opener. Still, it's like you don't know how they're going to respond ever.
Right.
But at least you're creating some sort of inspiring thing for them to think about. And as long as you can just recover or understand how to flow the conversation, then that's fine. And you'll have a great conversation with that starter.
Another good one would be, what are you learning?
Or unlearning. That's one question I really love. So, what I wanted to get to, you took a picture of this, which is great. Also, the recording will be up on the community, so you can find that there. So, language. We'll dive into questions later, again, but language. So, I want to ask you, what words, if you're walking down the street, right, what words would make you just turn around? What words, specific words?
When
MJ.
when you say Dasha across the street.
Yeah, I do that a lot to
I turn to that too.
So these, again, they're emotionally charged words.
Money.
Ice bath.
That's good. I love those. Ice bath and money. Because money, why is money a good one?
Free money.
I mean, the word money or things that
We're talking about the words here.
synonyms to money. I mean, word. Just if someone yells money, I'm not gonna turn around.
Right. There's gonna be. It's.
I am.
It's. I mean,
Free
maybe
money, maybe.
a little bit about the language inside of the sentence. Hey, money. Or hey, there's money. Probably there'll be something there that you kind of like look. But what about the word fuck?
Yeah, I was thinking like what the
Yeah,
fuck? Like
in
if I
anger
heard somebody say
way.
that.
Yeah.
Drum.
I'd be like,
Or-
hey, oops.
Or if it's someone just screaming like fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
So swear words, right?
I guess that's a survival instinct, no? To know.
Or drama.
Yeah, I mean, like
Just being drawn to it.
that too. Yeah.
But what words, even with someone talking to you, just kind of like brighten your eyes a little bit more, maybe like more positive words. If that's a word maybe like
Blessed.
blessed, oh, that's a great one.
Grateful.
Yeah, grateful always sparks me up.
My favorite word is fantabulous. Fantabulous.
Fantabulous.
Being fantastic and fabulous with a fantabulous.
People say that a lot.
It's very Canadian, yes.
Yeah, that's good.
When people ask me how are you doing, my default answer is fantabulous.
Yeah, you see, what he just did there is what we're going to dive into, is the way that you're responding to those questions that we asked earlier, right? So it's things like, how are you? Instead of saying good, say fantabulous. And all of a
Say it,
sudden,
I'm not just
yeah, exactly. The way that you convict yourself with your body language is very, very important. And this is putting you in a different state, even if you don't feel that way. You maybe do feel good, but you say fantabulous. The emotional conviction in your voice, all of a sudden, I feel inspired.
You can get creative, you can even say fantastic.
Fantastic.
Just be creative,
Fantastic.
Yeah, get creative, guys. Create your own words.
I really love the words like honesty, honestly. When someone says honestly, like or something, honestly, that's a really emotional word for me.
Seriously?
Seriously?
Seriously? Seriously?
Or
Brave?
what about what feelings do you have behind the word pissed off?
Oh, negative. Yeah.
Frustrated, anger.
It's like, come out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I gotta get out of here quickly. Yeah.
Because usually it's argument. It's for something. I had that. It actually still drives me in a way that it's unfinished conversation. Yeah, it pissed me off. But not like you can say that, hey, it pissed me off, but not in front of people who are there and listening to conversation. But it's usually argument.
So when we're using these words like pissed off, honestly, or fuck, just these really emotionally charged words, do you think that it will change the state that you're in? Just even if you say it to yourself, you in your head you're like, oh, I'm pissed off. What do you think that does to you?
Anger?
Right.
Bring you in a low like vibration or low
Absolutely.
negative state.
Yes. 100%.
Makes you go unconscious to whatever your real plans were for the day, being good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Makes you conscious to in reality. That's not a reality you actually really want to be in.
Yeah.
But still from the next workshop, whenever we see that there's something negative, we see it as a negative, but that doesn't have to be negative.
Yes. It doesn't have to be negative.
Yeah,
But
because
the
from negative gets something positive. Usually, it pissed me off. Then you realize that pissed you off, and then you don't do it again.
Mhm. The awareness is the most important thing. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to have more tools in our tool belt to have a better state more often. Because it's too easy. I looked at the numbers the other day, so I'll tell you the numbers here. The average person, their vocabulary is consisting of 2,000 and 10,000 words in the English language, okay? And so how many do you think describe emotions of all of those words? There's probably about 500,000 to 700,000 words in the English language, but out of the average person's daily usage, what number?
It'll be used for
Yeah,
emotional
for emotions.
emotions. And you said we use about 2,000 to 10,000?
15.
20, yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
80%.
50.
There's not a lot that we use, but there's 3,000 words to use to describe emotions.
Okay.
So when we look at positive emotions, I'll give you the number here, 1,051 ways to describe positive emotions.
There's one statistics.
Yeah.
How many words per day women say? Actually, let's start from a man. How many words per day men say?
I don't know.
Any number.
What language was that?
How many?
Maybe 600
7,000.
a day.
Yeah.
A man.
Yeah. And then women, how many?
2,000.
200.
10,000?
21,000.
Wow.
Three
Wow.
times more.
$100.
Uh-huh. Right, the words that they use within a day.
Yeah.
Right, but okay, the thing that we're looking at
Use
here,
more.
yeah, we're looking at the
Emotional.
the actual words itself. If it's repeating words, it's not going to count. But it makes sense. If it's 21, it's like a full day, right? But so with the negative emotions, so we just said positive has 1,051. Negative emotions have 2,086. So there's a lot more ways to describe negative feelings than positive.
Ah, in English language.
Yes, I'm talking about
okay.
English. I mean, I speak English.
Really? Oh.
And I mean, other languages too, but
So
so.
it's an average in the world.
Mhm.
This reminds me of something I read recently. Tell me if you know or heard something similar, where like up to 70 or 80% of the average person's thoughts are more negatively inclined in a day. I was astounded, so I reflected on myself. Like, yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
And that corresponds roughly with what you just said about the number of
It does.
vocabulary words, right?
There's more ways to describe a negative state than there is a positive state. And even with just words to describe sadness, 264 words, like moody, heavy-hearted, tearful, and the opposite of that, cheerful, 105 words. There's way more ways to describe negative.
Did they like set up the English language for us to be more negative? Something like this is so.
That's a great question.
But actually, that's not the chart. It's true.
It's a good question, but at the same time, what question does that answer kind of put in your head?
Negative.
I wonder if even means
Wait, I don't
something.
know.
So you asked like, what is they created the English language for us to be negative?
Yeah.
So this is like a question that can disempower you, right?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I mean, these are they're good questions to ask,
Yeah,
but to frame it in a different way,
would be better.
yes.
To not get myself in that low state, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm doomed.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
This is the power of words, and there is a lot of words. Like, I mean, who here uses swear words on a daily basis? Do you swear? You look like you don't swear.
You look like an angel.
Usually the
Those are the ones that
angels.
swear the most.
Yes.
So everyone here swears?
Yes.
I don't swear ever. I mean, it's not my thing.
Come on, man, don't like
You
that.
look like you swear.
Unless you mean fuck, that is not, you don't consider that as a
It's not
swear.
a bad word. I love that word. It's my favorite word in the dictionary. So.
We talk about words as bad words or good words, right? But what do we mean about bad and word? What people think about the word, or the emotional conviction that that word creates?
Both.
I think in some ways, yes, but most of the time it's what does the people have to think about for this word,
Okay.
right? So if I use fuck, Gary Vee, I don't know if any of you have heard of him.
Yeah.
He loves to swear,
Fuck.
and he's kind of he overdoes it a lot. But that's just who he is, right? And actually, people really connect with him because he just doesn't care.
He's wrong.
Yeah, he's very raw, and I mean, he's also able to have a lot of inspiration and give inspiration to people based on who he is and just the way he holds himself. However, when it comes to swear words, I think I learned something about swear words, that if you use swear words when you're feeling like you just stub your toe or something, it actually decreases the amount of pain. Yeah.
That's funny.
I have another one. So let's say in emotional state, whatever you say to yourself, your state of hypnosis, and gets in your subconscious mind. So let's say, I'm gonna give you an example on that. So let's say woman find out that she's cheated by her boyfriend, whatever, and then she said, "Oh, I hate men. They're terrible." She's very emotional, angry, and sad. Her brain listened that, and then why most of women get overweight after that, because their brain makes her now unattractive to a man because it's literally hypnotized. And then when she realizes, oh, I got more weight, then I have to lose it. And then she lost, and then again, her brain realizes, oh, you're attractive again, let me get you more weight. And then she becomes more unattractive. And then it's, you can solve that. I mean, there are ways to solve, of course, therapy is different ways, but that's the most reason why women, they get pissed on the men for some reason. Or even men, but men get to gym after that. Still. So it's state of hypnosis, every emotional state. Sad or happy, it's whatever you say to yourself, your brain listens and gets to it.
Especially when we talk about words like I. Whenever you use the word I, it just gets just super directly into your subconscious.
Like, I'm so stupid. Like, you did something wrong, and then it gets to you're emotional, and then those words get into your brain, and you repeat that mistake.
I mean, the most important thing to understand is whenever you're using words is to look at what emotional state you're in, because that will then really be remembered with those words. If you are a little baby and you only know what words are, you just hear things as sounds, you don't know that they're actually a translation for how you feel, then you don't really create any emotional conviction with any of these words. Likewise with other people who don't know English or don't know Russian or don't know Vietnamese or any of these other languages. You don't know what these words mean technically yet, but once you relate it with a word, then it obviously puts that conviction to it. So I'm going to ask you guys just like a little thing here. So when I give you a response, this response of just what some people would say to a conversation where they're in a dispute, like a relationship, right? So which one of these responses has more intensity to it? I think you're mistaken, I think you're wrong, or I think you're lying. The third one. Yeah.
It's like an accusation. I think you're lying.
But do all of them mean the same thing? And just a generalized.
What was the first one?
Generally,
I think you're mistaken.
I think that's kind of alright to say sometimes. But I think you're mistaken. Let's talk about it and why.
which is
I
different.
think you're
than
wrong. It's a little bit next level. Like, oh, you're wrong. I'm right. And then
The third
lying
level
is
is
an
like-
accusation, like you said. It's kind of violent, even.
Yeah.
It's like you're lying.
Yeah.
Unless they're right and they are lying. It's like, you man, you are lying.
These words, mistaken, wrong, lying, all of them have really different emotional intensity behind it, but they all are trying to say the same thing.
Right.
That I don't agree with you. And in a way that is So be conscious of what words, what things you're responding with. So let's dive into something here. If I were to ask you guys certain words of what they mean to you, so if I were to be super enraged and I was pissed off, say someone stole a lot of money from me or someone cut me off on the street or something like that, and I'm enraged, right? So say I believe that when I'm enraged, I get stronger, and when I'm strong, I can make things happen, I can turn anything around. So it's the meaning that I have behind this word, right? This word enraged. So when I ask you, okay, so Jim, what do you think of the word doubt? What does doubt mean to you?
Well, I guess it means a lot of different things in different contexts, but the first thing that popped up was like self-doubt.
Okay.
And reflecting on that,
Yeah.
it's just something that's been in my awareness lately.
Yeah.
And contrasting that with the opposite, which is like self-empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And I see those as opposites, and I find this is a good exercise to think about if I'm in a negative state or working with someone in a negative state, to ask, well, what's the opposite of that? So think of not only doubt, but empowerment.
Mm-hmm. So I love what you said here, and even with this word doubt, it can mean a lot of things, right? Obviously, a lot of these things have to do with context, but for the most part, these words are still creating something. So I'm gonna skip you, George. Brian, what does the word challenge mean to you?
Obstacle. Something to overcome.
Empowering one or disempowering?
One challenges. I guess
Negative. So one of my alter egos is I call myself the challenger, right? So one of these things that's like, I look at challenge as like, oh my gosh, this is a way to have me grow. This is a way to have me become to a new level. It's the way that we look at what these words mean, right? So, forgot your name.
Julia.
Julia. What does the word failure mean to you?
Failure?
Yeah.
Someone asked me this question before.
Oh.
I don't know what to say exactly.
When you hear.
Before the failure is like, I'm really scared of it, and it's like, if it has something happen to me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go there again. But for now, it's like, if you fail now, you can just try it again later, or you can just take it as experience for like a snack. So
Beautiful.
I don't know what to say exactly, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I can explain.
Yeah, that second thing you said there, I want that to become your belief for what failure means. Anytime you think that you're failing, that's the belief that is going to be backed behind that. Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense.
Right, so Helen, what does the word no mean to you?
No.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Knowledge?
Yeah. To know.
No, not to know, just N-O. Like
So, no.
Nine.
Redirecting.
redirecting.
Yeah.
Ah. Can you
Like
explain
it's,
more?
Just because something doesn't happen the way you want it or the way you expect it doesn't mean that it's something negative. It's just a way to shift somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
go somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
and can be better
Mm-hmm.
or not. It's just different.
Yeah. Could also mean like setting boundaries,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when I ask you guys these different words, did different meanings come up for you when
Yes.
someone answered?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting, right?
For me, the word failure, when I was in my dark times, words failure, no, loser, whenever I was reading something, hearing it, it would really strike me at my soul. Because I used to identify myself with those words. And when I changed just like you said, changing the word, changing the story for yourself, when I did that after that, now when I hear those words, I don't feel anything. They just become just another word in the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
So it also depends on what stage, what mental state you are when you hear those words. What on your journey are you?
Mm-hmm.
The same words 5-10 years ago would have destroyed me, but now, whatever.
Oh, it's big. And so we're going to do an exercise here now. I'm going to give you guys about 5-10 minutes or so. What we're going to do is we're going to come up with 3 new words that you want to use in your life, and then also 3 different words that go from good to great. Okay, so instead of saying great, you say exuberous.
Stupendous.
Stupendous.
I love that word.
Or instead of saying excited, I say exacerbated.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fucktastic.
The word.
So
Fantabulous.
you're creating 3 words. 3. I'll write this down for you guys to look at.
Thank you.
So disempowering words we're changing.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the ones that I put down. Can't. I want to remove this from my vocabulary. Can't is changing to unavailable.
Unless it's to say I can't lose.
I'm unavailable to lose.
That's not possible. That's not an option. Yeah, exactly.
Should.
That's
Who thinks they should all the time? Who shoulds themselves?
I want
I should have come here on time.
should do
So
better.
this is where I'm doing challenged. Another one that I really don't like is try.
oh, I hate that word.
So this one is stretching for me.
What about hope? I don't like that word so much.
You don't like hope?
No, I feel like it's like a lack. It's like, I hope I'll get it. I hope this happens.
Exactly, right?
It's not like I know it will.
Yeah, it's not
I want
convicting
it
it,
to,
like
you know,
expecting it.
Yeah, it's, I hope. I'll leave it up to the universe or whatever.
Right.
I'll leave it up to whatever happens. I hope it happens.
Yeah. So that's what you can use, right? Create your own 3 words. Start to just take like 5 minutes, put this in your phone or something. Or trying to literally look at the words that you use on a daily basis. Which words are disempowering? These ones are for me. And where do you want to start to change the vocabulary you use to have it be more empowering? And just to kind of like close out the language stuff, right? The idea to the solution, like to actually start to change this, go to, okay, so Helen and Kevin, you guys, what you're going to do to each other is you're going to say in your life, hey, I want to work on changing these words, right? So you're going to tell them, I want to change these words. And so say Helen wants to change can't. So, and then you tell him like, okay, I want to change it to unavailable. You're going to tell Mike, okay, those are the things I want to change. Mike's going to be like, okay, whenever you use the word can't, he's going to say, are you can't or are you unavailable? This is the idea of what you want to put into your life. You want people to hold you accountable for changing these words. If you can, find those people. That would be amazing. Ask 3 of your friends even. Maybe more. But really start to make this a habit. Change the routine, the rituals. Okay? So, let's just dive into questions here. We kind of had a little bit of idea of the questions. So actually, maybe what we could do, maybe we could just do the activity of questions, which is a beautiful thing. So we have, it's just what questions is most common, right? This is the activity that I have. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you guys a few different scenarios to work on. And let's say, so one of them I'm going to give you is your computer crashes and you lose important work. So that's a scenario. Right? What you're going to do is you're going to come up with your team disempowering question that typically would happen. And then you're going to ask a different question, a more empowering question to respond to that situation. So you're going to come up with a disempowering one that's kind of the automatic, and then you're going to come up with an empowering one. Okay? So I'll give you these 3 scenarios that you and your team are going to use. We'll divide this up so there is, we have I think we added 1. So now we have 14 again. So we can do 3 groups of 4. Perfect. Or do we want to do 4 groups of 3? I think we'll do.
There's
Well, now there's 15? Oh yeah, George came in too. Okay, we'll do, we'll make it quick, so we'll do 3 groups of 5.
fuck it, yeah.
And because there's maybe a little bit more stuff to talk about for it. So, these are your scenarios. Okay? There's 4 scenarios here. I'll read them off to you. First one is your computer crashes and you lose the important work. Second one is you have an overwhelming to-do list. Third one is a friend has not returned your calls in 1 week. Fourth one is you're cut off in traffic. That sucks, doesn't it?
What a day.
What a
I
day.
actually put the finger up. Honestly, I didn't die. That's why I was like, you know, that was not cool. Like, you really cut me off, like, big time. And I was like,
It happens here.
I didn't put the finger, I just did this. I was like, pissed off, though.
No,
I was so pissed off.
I usually, if they're gonna stop, I just stop them and explain them, hey, just then because they're gonna repeat again.
She gave me a bad face. She was like, I was like, you kidding me? You almost killed me.
So what you're gonna do, so typically what happens in these scenarios is you are thinking, right? How do we think? We ask a question. So what is the automatic disempowering question that normally shows up? And then your team is gonna figure out this, what's that question? Maybe you can have a few if you really wanna dive into it. And then what's the empowering question behind it? How can you change that question to be more empowering? Okay? And then there'll be a part 2 after this. So let's get that done. I'll give you guys 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah. What question did you guys come up with for the first one, the disempowering one?
Oh, I don't remember that far.
We have the notes, so we would freak out, say like fuck, shit, etc. Why haven't I backed up the information before?
Yeah.
So much time wasted.
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
What do they need to deserve this?
That's a great one there. What's the empowering question?
What is this right?
What did we come up with?
What is less than
What's the opportunity here?
Yep.
What for?
There we go.
What do I still have?
Yup.
New beginning?
Yup.
Should I get a new laptop?
Beautiful. Okay. What about getting cut off in traffic?
Why are you so stupid? It's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, same here.
Come on, you almost killed me.
Same here. That's the question that I think of too.
The answer to that- Yeah, do they have an emergency? I don't really feel it.
I know what you mean, but that's a good empowering question. It's
Yeah, like give them the benefit of
Yes.
the doubt that maybe something is going on.
Yeah.
Maybe they are mentally disabled.
Maybe. No, it's actually.
You see, like the way that even the answers show up are completely different, and the answers are the things that where we get the empowering side of us to not have our state be changed.
Empowerment could be, how can I become a better driver? How can I become more patient?
Yeah, that's a great question now too. I wish we had more time. There's a lot of stuff we can dive into about this. The one thing I would like you guys to go home with is, this is something that I learned from my mentor, is to create your list of empowering questions. Not necessarily ways to solve problems, which are amazing. There's questions you can solve like, what is the great about this problem? What's not perfect yet? You know, how can I enjoy this process while I still do what is necessary to make what I want? Things of these sorts to solve problems. But you can also look at the questions you ask yourself on a daily basis. What am I happy for right now? Who do I love? Who loves me? Ask yourself questions like these every single morning. What am I joyful of today, right now? Yeah. This is the thing. Start off your day with rewiring your habits to start asking yourself really, really, really powerful questions, and watch your day and your viewpoint of how your day goes down completely differently.
Can I suggest something about that? I suggest also writing it down.
Yes.
I feel like just thinking it, you can just get so, I don't know. It goes
Say it!
Yeah, say it is even stronger, it's even better, but that I feel like sometimes people just don't have the energy or the impulse to do it, but writing down is something that everyone can have a journal, just start doing it, get into the habit of it, and I'll just put it down and you feel that a lot more.
I write mine down every day. I have 5 questions that I ask. I ask, what basically, because I can do what do I want to do, right? I can put the what's question, the later what is in the actual full thing, but I do what, who, how, now, and why.
Okay, can you put that in a group?
Sure.
I'd like to do that as well. Yeah, sounds
Yep.
good. Yeah.
I have the community online, which is, we're actually doing a book club right now. If anyone would like to join, we're about a week in right now. Trudy is a part of it. There's people that are in different parts of the world that are also doing it as with us. The end of the month, on the 16th of September, we're going to be doing a collective little chat about the book. It's called The Power of Habit. And this is a great way to implement what you've learned here to start to change your habits of your questions, of your body language, and of your physiology, your focus, right? Last week, we talked about the triad. Remember the triad? It's the physiology, and then there's the focus, and then there is the meaning. This is the way to change your life. So,
Physiology, focus, and meaning.
huh?
Physiology, focus, and meaning.
Yes. Meaning and language. Thank you guys for coming. Leave your donation next to the Buddha, please. And next week we are off. I'm going to a Frisbee tournament. So we'll be back next week after.
So you gotta give us a double class in the, two different classes.
Woo! Thank you guys.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.